Man, the leaks just don't stop. If the gameplay wasn't enough, we now have 2 new screenshots, and these leaked actually here on the channel Discord. We were able to confirm that these are indeed real, and I'll break down all the details surrounding them. Now, after this happened this morning, a lot of other smaller and less credible leaks have been popping up. However, I haven't been able to confirm these, but we're still going to talk about them at the end of the video. Just take it with a grain of salt. But as always, guys, before we get into the video, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Elden Ring news and be involved with a really active Souls community. But now let's dive into these screenshots. So the story behind this leak this morning, one of you guys dropped these in the Discord, which if you're not in the Discord, definitely do that. I'll have it linked down below in the pinned comment, and since then it's kind of blown up. Now we have learned the origin of these pictures, and supposedly these date all the way back to 2017 and 2018 during the early stages of development. Now I did speak to the source that originally had these images, and they are 100% real. But now let's take a look at them. As you can see, they're not in the best quality, unfortunately. However, they do give us a good look into what the game used to look like and really paints a picture of how far we've come over all these years. So let's look at the more interesting one. This is a screenshot of the fight with the wyvern that we've seen in several trailers. Now it's really hard to make out since the picture is in such bad quality, but it showcases the player character using a spirit summon to fight this wyvern. And let me just say real quick, I freaking love this art style. I don't know what it is, but just the way everything looks in Elden Ring, I love it so much. The way the fire is crawling up the back of the wyvern looks so cool too. But we've seen this shot before. Not the exact same one, but a different take on how this fight's gonna go down. We do know this wyvern is gonna be a field boss. However, a question that a lot of us have is whether or not these field bosses are gonna be respawnable. And personally, I really hope they are, but right now we really have no idea. We definitely see a lot of these guys flying around in the trailer, but we've seen this wyvern fight 3 times and it's always been in the same location. So I hope it's not just a one-time deal. In this screenshot, we also get a good look at a new spirit summon. And this thing really looks like a Pontiff Knight. You can see it's got that elongated body, it's got that same white glow, but we now know that the spirit summons are going to have a bluish glow instead of that white. And you can even see it's got a bit of that frost coming off the bottom. So to me, it kind of seems like a reused asset, but keep in mind these are really old screenshots. And it's incredibly likely that a lot has changed since then, so that enemy type might even be completely different in the final game. Now let's move on to the second one. There really isn't a whole lot to see here, however it does give us a great idea of how far the game has come since then. Look at the sheer lack of trees and foliage. And then let's compare it to the trailer we got for the network test. Now we don't have any details about where this screenshot was taken from, but clearly they're hard at work. And it brings up a great discussion that I saw a lot of people talking about with the gameplay leak. Now I'm not going to show that footage here, but I saw a lot of people concerned with the graphics and the textures of the trees and the rocks and so forth, but it's important to note that that gameplay was captured on an Xbox One, and as many of you know, the Xbox One does not run games very well. So I guarantee you the rendering was turned down quite a bit just to get a stable gameplay performance. So personally, I'm not worried about how this game's going to look at all, at least on next-gen consoles and PC. Now the network test is going to be coming out pretty soon, and as we know right now, they don't want anybody streaming it because it's still a work in progress, so I doubt it's going to be the top-notch performance of the game. We did ask the Bandai Namco community manager in the Discord whether or not videos are going to be allowed of the gameplay footage, and he said he still doesn't know. So that's unclear, but I doubt they're going to be able to handle 50,000 people all getting access to gameplay footage. So if you're one of the unlucky people that does not get a code, I'm sure it won't be too hard to find. Now I want to talk about these really obscure leaks that some of y'all were talking about in the Discord. Now let me specify strongly, I have absolutely no way to validate this. As of right now, this is literally just a random guy saying this. So the guy that sent this conversation claims to know the starting classes in Elden Ring, and supposedly got to see the boss fight of the guy before Godric. And once again, there's no credibility to this as of yet, so let's take a look at what he had to say. He claims that the starting classes are Stargazer, Scholar, Assassin, Knight, Samurai, and Deprived. Now as of right now, there's a couple red flags for me. Number one, I don't think they would use the word samurai, since that directly references a culture outside of the game world, and typically Deprived is reserved for just the Souls games, and we saw that they used a different name for it in Bloodborne, so we can assume they're going to do the same thing in Elden Ring. He then goes on to name 2 spells that he calls Glintstone Arrow and Flash Arc, which very well could be real, but we have no way of knowing. He then claims there's Magic, Fire, Lightning, and Holy. So this would be claiming that miracles and lightning are 2 different aspects now. He then says that the cleric class starts with heal and force as miracles, although he doesn't give the names of what those are called in Elden Ring. The next part of the conversation has some very interesting stuff. He gives details on the boss we can see before the Godric fight in the Summer Games Fest trailer, whose name he claims to be Morgoth the Fell Omen. Now aside from that being a ridiculously cool name, it could be very well made up, but he goes on to describe the fight as unpredictable since he has slow attacks in mid-range and the wind-ups are very slow, but then some crazy fast attacks with his dagger in the close range. Now the rest of what he says is stuff that could be pulled straight from the trailer, so overall I'm really not sure how I feel about this one. Now normally I wouldn't cover stuff that has no credibility like this, but one of you guys sent it to me, so I figured we might as well talk about it. But anyways guys, that's gonna pretty much do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. It's definitely been a crazy day, and once again, if you're not in the Discord, you're missing out on a lot. So definitely make sure and do that, and subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you in the next one.